Hey everybody, John V here from PhoneArena. You're watching our in-depth video review of the Samsung DoubleTime. It's available right now through AT&T for a 2-year contract price of $49.99. And the neat thing about it is it's a clamshell device that features two touchscreens, an internal one and an external one. Right away, the handset reminds us of a device that's more of a feature phone just because of its white plastic construction and its clamshell form factor. Definitely is a little bit weighty in the hand. You notice that it's not the thinnest out there, but it's durable enough so it doesn't feel completely on the cheap side. So the handset features two 3.2-inch HVGA displays. On the outside one, you could use it both in portrait and landscape, while the internal one you can only use it in landscape orientation. With its resolution, it's decent enough to make out most details, but small text a little bit harder to make out, but still nonetheless decent enough. It suffers from some poor viewing angles, weak brightness output, so it makes it almost invisible when you're viewing it outdoors. Flipping open the front portion of the handset, it locks into place at a 135-degree angle or a full 180 degrees and exposes its 4-row QWERTY keyboard. Now, it does offer some uniform squarish buttons which are flush to the surface, so it offers very little distinction with our thumbs, but luckily we definitely like the tactile response of them, so you get a really good clicky feel. And on top of that, you also have a directional pad and the Android buttons on top. There are no accidental presses with the handset just because it features physical Android buttons. On the left side of the phone, you have the volume rocker which protrudes out and offers a really good distinctive feel. While on the bottom, we just find the micro USB port for charging and data connectivity and also the microphone. And finally, on top edge, you have the 3.5mm headset jack and dedicated power button, which is a little bit on the flat side. In the rear, there's a 3.2 megapixel autofocus camera, no flash unfortunately. You have the notches here for the speakerphone. Removing the back cover, you just got to yank off the plastic cover, giving access to its battery, SIM card slot, and the spring-loaded micro SD card slot. Much like all of Samsung's Android-powered smartphones, the Samsung DoubleTime features the TouchWiz interface, but rather than Gingerbread, it's actually sporting Android 2.2 Froyo, so it's a little bit outdated in terms of Android build, which is rather strange. Still, there's a lot of personalization thanks to its wealth of widgets and various wallpapers. Call it a throwback, but the Samsung DoubleTime features a single-core 600 MHz processor with a measly 260 megabytes of RAM, and honestly, it's plagued by a lot of slowdown lag, especially with a live wallpaper activated. It just seems like it's kind of slow with its overall performance. Even opening up applications, it takes an extraordinary amount of time, and you definitely notice its slow pace. Who knows why anyone would want to use the on-screen keyboards with the handset, especially when you have a decent experience using the physical ones. That's just because the layout's very cramped, both portrait and landscape. And on top of that, its performance is inconsistent. At times it can be fast, and the next moment it can be crawling. Whether you use the Samsung email app or the Gmail one, the experience is going to be just the same. There's a lot of organization with it. And as far as setup is concerned, it's pretty straightforward. Just username and password, and automatically will set up for you. With only 3G connectivity, pages do take a little bit longer time than other HSPA Plus phones, but as far as the performance goes, it's just riddled with some choppiness. You can tell with pinch zooming and even kinetic scrolling, very choppy indeed, and doesn't offer flash support. Well, there's nothing different with the music player on the handset, just because we were presented with the stock experience. As far as the audio quality of the speaker, it does offer quite a few different equalizer settings to better fine-tune it. Definitely tolerable to the ears, but at the louder setting, it has this slight hiss to it. So there's nothing really impressive about its 3.2 megapixel camera, just because in outdoor conditions, details are all muddy looking, almost indistinct, and on top of that, it seems to have a high exposure setting, both indoors and outdoors, but we do like its saturated color reproduction, which is definitely pleasing to the eyes, but indoors under low lighting, there's just a lot of graininess to its shots. Well, it doesn't happen all the time, but every now and then there's just a handset out there that offers QVGA video recording, and fortunately for the Samsung DoubleTime, this is the handset, so it's very pixelated with its quality, but we do like that it runs at the smooth rate of 29 frames per second and captures mostly clear audio recording, but we can't get over the fact that fine details are pretty much out the door just because of its 320 by 240 resolution. With its earpiece, it's very difficult to make out conversations just because its overall volume output is very weak. On top of that, voices are a little bit on the mute side, making it difficult to hear them. On the other end of the line, our calls didn't have any issues. They're good with natural sounding voices, and when we switch to using a speakerphone, we definitely like its volume output, very usable. Luckily, the handset maintains a solid connection to the network during our time using it and displays a good amount of bars in high coverage areas. It doesn't fluctuate, and we didn't experience any dropped phone calls. Packing a measly 1200 milliamp hour battery, it's undoubtedly on the low side, and its performance is definitely not that spectacular. We're able to get 5.5 hours of talk time on a single charge, while the manufacturer has it rated for 6 hours, so it's a little bit behind that. As far as everyday usage, we're able to get by a solid 8-hour work shift, but its battery is definitely limited, and it's going to constantly require charging at night. Overall, it's best to steer clear away from the Samsung DoubleTime just because its overall performance is less than enlightening. Yes, it is very different just because of its clamshell form factor with the 2 touchscreens, but besides that, there's nothing really pretty going on with the handset. It features an outdated Android 2.2 Froyo build, a very sluggish performance. On top of that, it shoots some ugly photos and videos. There's just nothing really compelling about this guy. And for $50 2-year contract, you're better off spending that on other devices. Maybe something like the gaming-centric Sony Ericsson Xperia Play 4G, or even a high-end handset like the Motorola Atrix 2, or even the LG Thrill 4G. So if you'd like to learn more about the Samsung DoubleTime, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. This is John V. Thanks for watching, everyone.